the thing that made me really go hard at basketball was sixth grade. It was like sixth grade tryouts, elementary school tryouts. And elementary school tryouts was like really just making a layup and a couple passes and things like that. And I didn't make the team, but all my other friends made the team.
Wow.
So that kind of fueled me. I said that I never wanted to feel that feeling again. And I just went like all in from basketball after I didn't make the sixth grade team. And then I never got cut from a team again.
Hello, everyone. This is author Tim Brown, the book Uncommon Athletes. And I am truly, truly blessed today to have a great guest with me. I want to remind those who have not subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, like, and just to be a part of this video series. But today, I want to jump right into this one. I'm blessed to have with me Coach Robert Jones from Norfolk State University, now Norfolk, Virginia. And Coach has had a heck of a career. I think everybody looks at his success now. Back-to-back MEAC championships, back-to-back NCAA tournament appearances, winning a couple tournament games, but they don't know the backstory, how far this young man has come to get to where he is today. So, Coach, welcome to the show.
All right, thank you for having me.
Yeah, you are. I was reading your resume. You have been quite a developer of talent, throughout the years, and a great player in your own right. I saw you just got inducted to your College Hall of Fame. Congratulations on that.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate it. That's about time. It took them 20 years. 20 years.
they got to you. They got to you.
Yeah,
this has been a heck of a year for you. You were named one of the Midwest top 25. Black coaches by the Black Coaches Association in Division I college basketball. You won the Hugh Durham National Mid-Major Coach of the Year award. Like I said, your team made it to the tournament. You won the MEAC. This has been a great year for you, Coach.
Yeah, it's probably been one of the pinnacle, of my career, the year as far as with team and individual accolades. So we got a lot of team accolades this year and some team records and things like that. And then also I was able to get a lot of individual coaching of the year accolades and coaching honors and coaching in a couple All-Star games, including your All-Star game. So that was great.
Yeah, how have you remained humble and all that? Well, what keeps you going? Sometimes guys get to a certain level, you're in the Hall of Fame, you won back-to-back championships and all that. I've won, been on that national stage with NCAA tournament. What keeps you humble? What keeps you grounded, Coach?
I just don't get too caught up in myself too much. I just try to be a regular guy, because I think that a lot of times people in entertainment professions or sports professions, they start to get a little limelight as far as the media or public eye, and then they change who they are. And I've always vowed to never change, who I am, no matter how many accolades you could read off or things like that or appearances or whatever it is. I just just have humble beginnings, so it keeps me humble and just it's a job at the end of the day. It's a big time job, I guess, but it's a job. There's people out there in the world doing great jobs, as doctors and lawyers and things like that might not get the same public recognition, but they're doing just a greater job in their field as well. So it's just a job, and you try to stay humble and not let it get, you get caught up in everything.
Yeah. As you mentioned that, I was thinking, take me back to those, you mentioned about your humble beginnings. Take me back to where does all this started? Where did all this start? The love for basketball, love for sports and all. Where did all this start at?
Well, my love for basketball, I used to play baseball. I played Little League baseball, and my father was really into baseball. And so I was a pitcher. So like growing up, I used to want to be like Dwight Gooden. Stuff like that, like for the New York Mets. I'm from New York originally, so I used to want to be Dwight Gooden. But then as I got taller and taller, the environment that you grow up in, when you grow up in the neighborhood, it's like you start gravitating towards basketball because people are like, hey, you're tall. I was always above average height for my age, so people started bringing me into basketball. And the thing that made me really go hard at basketball was sixth grade. It was like sixth grade tryouts, elementary school tryouts. And elementary school tryouts was like really just making a layup and a couple passes and things like that. And I didn't make the team, but all my other friends made the team.
Wow.
So that kind of fueled me. I said that I never wanted to feel that feeling again. And I just went like all in from basketball after I didn't make the 6th grade team. And then I never got cut from a team again. So I just, I guess they always said sometimes a traumatic event changes your course of your life. And I guess me growing up young, that was a traumatic event, watching a lot of my friends make the team and I wasn't on the team. And that changed everything for me for basketball.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. Coach, you've been known as a great developer of talent and player development. You were blessed to coach NBA champion Danny Green, as well as Kyle O'Quinn, who's currently in the NBA. Can you talk about what's that secret sauce to developing players in your eyes?
Well, with Danny, I had Danny when he was a senior in high school. So, I can't say I had a whole bunch to do with his stuff. I think that with just working him out when he was in high school, just getting him better. That's when he was going to North Carolina. He just became a McDonald's All-American. And it was just basically just trying to keep the guy humble, because you're a McDonald's All-American in high school. That's like the pinnacle of what you can get from an individual accolade. So you go to North Carolina, which is like the pinnacle of what you can get from a scholarship standpoint. So to keep you humble, to keep you understanding that you got to keep working to keep getting better and better. And then I also had worked out, trained Tobias Harris too, who plays for the Philadelphia 36ers. Tobias Harris is actually going to come to my high school when I coached in high school. But then I actually got the Norfolk State assistant job, so he went to a different high school. But he was already set to come to the high school I was at St. Mary's. And, we were looking to do some great things, together from a player coach standpoint and things like that. And so I still keep in contact with Tobias today. Tobias talked to the team. He came to Norfolk State and talked to the team 2 years ago. He came to a game, actually, during an All-Star break. He came and talked to the team and things like that. And then with Kyle O'Quinn was probably the biggest development story, because, Tobias Harris and Danny Green, both of those kids were like, Tobias was like top 15 nationally in high school. Danny was like top 50 nationally in high school. So they were already on an NBA trajectory, so it was just kind of keeping them on the path. But a guy like Kyle O'Quinn was really a story, because he had one scholarship offer coming out of high school, and that was us, Norfolk State. When I got here, he was my first guy offered ever, and first recruit I ever got at Norfolk State. That's why we're like forever linked, I guess, together. And he was a kid that averaged 5 points a game his freshman year. And that's not like an NBA player by any means. He's like 6'8", 5 points a game. But the thing is that with Kyle O'Quinn, a lot of people don't realize is that he grew 2 inches to 6'10" in college. And he grew 2 inches to 6'10", and then he went from 5 points to 11 points. To his last 2 years, he averaged about 16 and 11 his 2 years in a row. And then he was able to get drafted. But that was countless hours of development, from teaching him different post moves, perfecting his jump shot, getting different things right. He was always a great passer, so I had nothing to do with that. But other stuff is just countless hours of getting him better. Then he became an NBA player, which was like incredible, because he was a kid that was nowhere close to the NBA radar when he came to Norfolk State.
Yeah. Wow, that's a testament to what's happening at Norfolk State. That leads us to the question of, you built a dominant program at Norfolk State. Can you talk about the pillars of your success? How have you built the program? What are the hallmarks of your program?
The pillars we have something called dialed is our pillars. And we say, like, when people say when you're dialed in, you're locked in, or whatever the case is. So we use the dial as an acronym, and the D is for discipline. I think you got to have discipline on and off the court, no matter what you do, to get things accomplished. And I is for intensity. You got to have intensity on that court, because the thing that people don't realize, fans don't realize, like, the other team is trying to win too. So, you got to have intensity. I know everyone always, if you're a fan, you always get on your team, but you got to forget the other team is trying to win also. Exactly. So you got to have some intensity. A is for accountability. You got to be accountable for yourself and others. L is for leadership, because even though you have captains and things like that, everybody can be a leader in their own right. It just doesn't have to be the captains or the guys labeled the leaders and things like, things of that nature. E is for excitement. You should be excited, because looking at some stats the other day, NCAA released some more stats, updated stats about who plays college basketball out of high school. Is like 1%, 1.2% plays Division I college basketball, out of all the kids that play high school basketball. So if you're part of anything 1%, I don't care if you're part of the 1% of your job, 1% top earners in the country or whatever, you are elite, if you're 1% of anything. So to be in 1% of basketball players, you should be excited about the opportunity. And D is for dedication. You have to be dedicated to your craft and to the program in order for us to achieve what we want to achieve, which is, the championships and of course, graduation and things like that. So you have to be dedicated. So if we feel like if we can do all those things, then we're dialed in, and those are the pillars of our program.
Wow, it's powerful. That's wow. And I can tell you, as you spoke those words, I've been blessed to watch your team play a few times, and I can see that they're definitely dialed in. I can see they definitely are exhibiting those pillars. Let's talk about you were blessed to be part of the NCAA Final Four HBCU Classic or Experience in New Orleans, and then also in Columbus. Can you talk about how these events help expose HBCU players to post-college opportunities?
I think anytime you can get like some of the best together, then the exposure will be tremendous. I think that a lot of times with HBCUs, obviously the CBS game was a great national platform for HBCU basketball, which is a lot of those kids. That might be their first time, especially as some of the Division II guys who played in that game. That might be their first time. It might be their only time playing in a national televised game. So that was a great experience for those guys, and also was able to open up some eyes. And then of course the Classic in Columbus was a great experience too. Having not two HBCU teams like the other game, but just having that HBCU All-Star team against some of the better players from Ohio. And I think that game just was another thing. When I coached that game, the thing I told the guys was that this is just another opportunity to prove yourself. This is another opportunity to show what you can do, because now it's not like HBCU versus HBCU. It's like, okay, you're going against those PWIs that people think are supposed to be so great or so good or whatever. And this is a chance to go out there and prove yourself again. And thankful the HBCU team was able to win that basketball game. So I'm 2-0 in All-Star games right now. I retire now from All-Star games. I retire. Maybe I'll come back next year, maybe the Classic Columbus, just to hang out or something. But I retire 2-0.
All right, that's great. You had a great high school and basketball and college basketball career. How did those experiences prepare you for coaching?
I think that it helped my leadership, because I was always kind of like the captain, especially at college, the captain of the team. Like probably for my sophomore year, I was a captain. But the one thing that I say my freshman year, what I go back to with the dialed, is that there was other captains, but I would still play the leadership role even as a freshman, because I was the second leading scorer. So even subconsciously on the team, even though your peers don't say it, and I tell my team this all the time, that people look at what the leading scorers are doing, because people kind of envy them a little bit. They want to be, even though your peers might not say it, that they want to be like you and have the stats like you. They are envying and looking at who's the leading scorer. So those guys who are the leading scorers and things like that, have a responsibility to be a leader as well, because other people are watching. So like I said, I wasn't a captain the freshman year, but I was second leading scorer, so I knew I had a responsibility. So that helped my leadership right there. And high school, I played from 10th grade. made the team as a sophomore, made varsity as a sophomore. So now me and my son have a competition. He said he wants to make varsity as a freshman. But I tell him that in New York City is like junior high school, which they call it, not middle school. Junior high school was 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. So you had an option in 9th grade whether to stay in junior high school or go to high school.
Oh wow!
So I chose to stay in junior high school. So that's why I went to high school as a 10th grader. So I tell him that I didn't have the opportunity to play as a freshman because I was still in junior high school. So you're really not upping me because I played my first year. I got to high school. So I played 3 years at Brooklyn Tech High School in New York, and that was a great experience too. But I think the biggest thing was like at college, kind of showed me, helped my leadership skills and things like that. And also, not taking anything away from the coaches that I had in college or high school, but to be honest with you, I felt like I never, like as time went on, I felt like I never had like a real good coach, and that kind of helped me, like mold myself into like, okay, I'm gonna do everything that my coaches, that I would have liked for my coaches to do for me. I'm gonna do it for others when I started coaching. I think I'm gonna try to enhance my knowledge of the game. I'm always gonna sound credible. You're never going to ask me a question that I'm not going to be able to give you an answer to, which sometimes was the case, when I played and things like that. So, I thank some of those coaches, for not being the greatest coaches, I guess, but just for that helped me now in my career.
Awesome. Can you talk to young players about playing at an HBCU school and that unique experience? We hear a lot about the HBCU experience from we look at it, from a campus standpoint, how teachers and all that. But what is that basketball experience like? What's that sport experience like that's unique?
To be honest with you, I think that the unique part is what you say, that the other stuff, basketball in my eyes. So there's no difference between HBCU basketball and OVC basketball or NEC basketball, whatever it is. It's just like it's the cultural stuff, but basketball. I mean, basketball is 94 feet of opportunity. Whatever you do with the opportunity when you're within the 94 feet, is going to lead to your success or demise. So it's and that opportunity is available all across the country. That 94 feet of opportunity. But I think that with HBCUs, of course, there's the band experience.
Yeah.
I really love the HBCU bands. I've seen games be packed. Football games really be packed, and then after the band plays at halftime, and then it's empty. And you're like, this is a pretty good game going on. Why is it empty? This is crazy. So basketball is a little different because you don't get the full halftime show at basketball. It's just pep band going on and like that. But the band is big, the camaraderie is big. Seeing other people that look like you trying to achieve a higher level of success is always motivating too, I think. I didn't go to HBCU, and as being a part of coaching HBCU for a while, I do look back and think that I should have went to HBCU or could have went to HBCU or something like that, because it gives you a different focus. Like a lot of times growing up in these hoods and neighborhoods and things like that, is that you see people that look like you, but they're doing the wrong thing. But when you go to HBCU, you see people that look like you, that can relate to you, that come from the same place you came from, but everyone's trying to achieve the higher level of education, a degree. And like I said, it's motivating, and I think that's what keeps a lot of guys going, even subconsciously keep them going. Of course, homecomings and things like that are always first class.
Right. Yeah. It's that holistic approach, that holistic experience, you're getting it all. Like I said, basketball is basketball, but it's that other side, that you're leaving with. Another thing that I really admire about you is you're continuing to grow as a coach, meaning always like you have a coach's clinic you're heading to and hosting camps. And I know you're always growing as a coach. And in that, you have this floppy defense. I was doing a little research. You got a little DVD out, on this floppy defense. How did that come to you? Where did that come from?
It's funny. People always ask me about the floppy defense. It's crazy because that DVD's been out 5 years. There's actually a part 2 out now that came out maybe 2 months ago.
Okay, I gotta get that.
2 or 3 months ago it came out, and then there's another DVD, that's on Championship Productions. Too. So shameless plug, right? You gotta throw it in. And then I was fortunate that Championship Productions did. They came to me and asked me to do a DVD, which was great, because there's if you go look at their DVDs, I mean, you got people from all across the country. Roy Williams, Coach K, all types of people.
That's big.
Yeah, so it was great. But with the defense, what happened was that we were just sitting in the office one day. We were trying to figure out what. Actually, my assistant coach at the time, Larry Vickers, he's actually the head women's basketball coach at Norfolk State now. But he was my assistant coach when I first got the job. And we were just thinking of things. He just said, do you think that we could change from zone to man, or in the middle of the possession? And I'm like, I don't know. Let's play around with it. Let's try to figure it out. And then we figured out a way to do it that seemed seamless and that would throw teams off. And we were able to do that. And it worked. We don't use it all the time. It's not like our primary defense, but in spurts when we need to switch up tempo and things like that, we will. And also for us, a lot of times, especially out of conference, the schedule that we play, we'll play whoever, out of conference. We'll play Kentucky, Duke, whatever out of conference. Is that, a lot of times those guys got, from a physical standpoint, they have pros. You know, we don't have the same pros that they have.
Right,
so now
right.
we have to be creative to try to throw them off and try to keep them thinking,
Right.
and to keep us in the game and possibly win those games. So it all comes in handy with that, with the floppy defense and everything like that. So you know, that's definitely been a hot topic for like I said, like about 5 years.
Yeah, yeah, it has been. It has been. I saw it. I didn't know it was a part two. I'm going to have to pick that up. That's good.
Yeah, it's part two.
Good. You know, Coach, when a player completes his playing career at Norfolk State, what life lessons will he have learned?
I think that we always tell you, you know, is to the parents that, you know, if you send us a boy, we'll send you back a man. You know, and I think that we try to pride ourselves on that. I think that everyone on my staff, except one person who's still younger, we'll have children. You know, and we actually all have sons and two. So, you know, the way we treat our sons is the way we're gonna treat your son. You know, and we're gonna try to prepare them for life, through lessons through basketball. You know, like I'm a big stickler about time. You know, I leave people, you know, I'll be honest with you. If I said a bus is leaving at 8 o'clock, it's gonna leave at 8 o'clock. It's not leaving at 8:01, it's not leaving at 8:02, unless it's like a extenuating circumstance. But on normal time, it's gonna leave at that time. So with that being said, you know, sometimes people get left, you know, and they got to figure it out how to get to where we going. Right. But, you know, it's not to be mean to the guys, anything like that. It's just really, you know, one is part of that discipline, talk about with D, you know, with dialed in, but also just prepare them for life that, you know, if you're late for your job too many times, you're going to get fired. You know, I mean, that's just what it is. Real. Most people, especially when they start off, aren't able to be entrepreneurs right away. You know, some people have to, you know, gain capital and things like that before they start owning their own businesses and being entrepreneurs. Now you can make your own schedule, do what you want. So usually you're probably gonna be working for somebody at the beginning of your life, and some people for your whole life you're gonna be working for somebody. Right. So you better understand, you know, the importance of punctuality, and then, you know, just other life lessons. You know, we try to tell them about camaraderie and selflessness, and, you know, as a team being selfless and not selfish, and those are just good traits to have in life. You know, and not to be a selfish person, to be a humble person, to be a grateful person, you know, and things like that. So I think you're gonna get all those characteristics when you leave, you know, Norfolk State men's basketball program. Man,
it's well said. Lastly, Coach, with all the changes in NCAA basketball, transfer portal and all the stuff that's going on, what word of encouragement would you give to the young coaches who are just getting in the game?
I'd stay away. No, I ain't gonna stay away. I tell them all the time that be careful what you ask for, though, because a lot of times people see the glitz and the glamour of being on ESPN. They see some of these, you know, amazing contracts. You know, most Division I head coaches are paid pretty well, you know, in the whole grand scheme of things. You know, so they see all that stuff, but they don't see the sleepless nights that you have to do. You know, they don't see that. No matter, you know, like for me, like I joke about having, you know, took 20 years to be in the Hall of Fame. I haven't missed a shot that counted in 20 years. You know, like I haven't scored a basket that counted in 20 years. But every game that your team wins or loses, it's over you. Like, so sometimes you lose a game, like I didn't miss any shots. You know, how was it my fault that we lost the game? You know, I think sometimes coaches, to be honest with you, I think sometimes coaches get too much praise and too much blame too. I think you got to find a happy medium in between in that, because a lot of times, you know, you get blamed for everything, and then you get praised for everything too. So you know, it's kind of a weird profession. But the other thing I tell you is that, you know, it is a stressful profession, because a lot of times you know, you got 18 to 22, 23-year-olds controlling your future. You know, anything they do, I mean, they go out and do something bad off the court, you know, now it's a reflection of the coach. And once again, you probably didn't have anything to do with that, but it's a reflection of the coach. So, you know, it's a very rewarding profession, because you could touch a lot of people and mold a lot of people, but it's also a stressful profession. And you know, a lot of times people don't see the countless hours of work and film study and just everything. You know, some people that even to this day still think that, like, I tell you, I actually live in New York. Some people ask me, hey, when you coming back to New York? And I'm like, coming back, I live in Virginia. Like, you know, people think that's like a seasonal job. That's right. The season is over, you know, it's over. Like, where you going, you know, you come back home now.
Come back home, right.
Yeah, but no, my home is Virginia. So it's like, you know, people don't realize that after the season, you're still recruiting. You get prepared for next season. Then the summer workouts start. And then the preseason start. And then you're doing the scheduling, and you're doing the budgeting. And, you know, it's a whole bunch of things that go on with a college basketball program. So Like I said, people can, it's very rewarding, but also be careful and be aware of what you get yourself into.
Right. Wow. I tell you, Coach, this has been really rich. One of the things in the short time I've known you is your realness, how real you are. I mean, you just tell it the way it is, the way it needs to be heard, and that's one of the things I think young people lack today is people in their life who will tell them the truth.
Yeah.
Who really tell them the truth, and have some expectations for them, we're letting too many of these guys slide between the cracks or get away with this little, but that's not life. In our African American or Black man experience, we know what these guys need. We know what they need to be successful. So I want to thank you for that, for just being that real coach. Who's really just not sugarcoating things. And I think the guys appreciate that, and young guys need that. They need to be challenged. They need to be challenged in a way that will help them be successful down the road. So I really enjoyed our time with you in Columbus. I'm looking forward to you guys getting a couple of them NCAA. I'm looking for that Final Four. I'm just going to be honest. I'm looking for y'all to shock the world, as cats say.
We're going to try, Tim. We're going to try,
shock
man.
The world, shock the world.
And next year, if you need me to come back to defend my title, I'll come back for you.
Oh, man. Yeah, man. You ain't. All right, Coach. Well, I appreciate you. So stay dialed in.
That's right. All right, man.
I got my word now, dialed in. All right, be blessed, Coach. Have a great summer.
All right, you too, Tim.
All right, thanks.